because you were there in the very beginning. You were there on day one. How did the tone surrounding inauguration in 2017 compare to yesterday? Because not only did you have those huge, tech billionaires on the front row, but out in the streets, right? I mean, the people were very open and, proud about being there. It felt starkly different.
Oh, it was starkly different. And I hope I'm on that good list that President Trump just said in the clip that you played. Look, Markie, I was going through photos from 8 years ago, and there's a video of the van that we were in coming from the Capitol to the White House right after that lunch that you saw yesterday with President Trump and the congressional members. And we were getting harassed in the van. People were yelling profanities at us. Last night, yesterday, the day before, I was walking the streets of Washington, D.C., going to event to event. People were buying their MAGA hats. They were proudly chanting in support of President Trump. It was literally night and day from 8 years ago. And I feel really excited for the team that's in there now. To have this opportunity to start on such a higher note. And, you're right. I mean, the tech CEOs that stood there in the front row yesterday were the same tech CEOs that were colluding against President Trump. His agenda were giving crying rooms to their employees and days off and trying to suppress and censor the speech of so many of us.
And wouldn't touch them. I mean, it must have been surreal for you to experience that yesterday. Now, Mick, you weren't there on day one, right, because you were busy confirmed. I mean, you were chosen before inauguration, even began last time. What'd you make of the day as a whole?
Yeah, Markie, I think Sean's absolutely right. It's markedly different. I think Sean talked about sort of the outside world's perspective towards the inside, but inside looking out, this is the difference I see. And Sean has pointed this out on the show before. Sean and I didn't meet each other until February. I'd never met Sean Spicer until I actually got to the job. The team that is taking over today has been working together for the last several, months, maybe years. They've been getting ready for this moment. We sort of got thrown into it at the last minute, a hodgepodge of people who had never worked together to try and make Donald Trump a success. That's really, really hard to do. I'd never met Donald Trump before he nominated me. The folks who are working for him now have known him for years. So there's a difference inside the team that I think will actually help them accomplish more in the second term than we were able to in the first term.
Yeah. And now it was straight to business yesterday, but now it's really back to business today with the first full day in office. Sean, what are you expecting of newly minted Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt? And have you imparted any wisdom, to her? Have y'all chatted?
Yes. Caroline and I have chatted several times. Like I say with my conversations with the president, I will keep that to those conversations private. I will say that she has a very big head start for, I think, 3 reasons. Number one, she's worked in the building before. She was in the press office in the first term, so she's familiar with the logistics of how the office works. She hits the ground running on that front. 2, as Mick alluded to, Caroline and several other peoples in that inner circle have really worked with the president for a very long time. They understand, the tone and tenor that he wants to strike on several things. And then, to be honest with you, the third thing is, she succeeds Karine Jean-Pierre, which is a huge advantage. I followed Josh Ernst, a very highly respected public affairs professional. She succeeds Karine Jean-Pierre. If you're grading that, she already, by talking to a reporter today and opening her mouth, has done a better job.
Mick, let me give you the last word here. How are you expecting things to be different this time around, right? Because there's no re-election on the horizon. I was talking with Chris Cillizza earlier. I feel like he doesn't give a rip about criticism or how he should do things differently. He's going to do what he wants to do moving forward. How does that change the game for the next 4 years, you think?
It's a really good question. Here's what I've been seeing. And I've looked as closely, Markie, at the Senate confirmation hearings as anything else. 8 years ago, we were told to keep our head down, grin and bear it, let the Democrat senators kick you in the teeth, just get through the confirmation hearing. Yeah. Fast forward to the last couple of days, and what you're seeing is nominees pushing back, aggressively pushing back and saying, no, that's not right. This is what we are going to do. You're seeing a lot more muscular, a lot more assertive Trump policy here in the second term, and I think that will carry through. Personnel is policy in Washington, D.C., and he's picking people who are not only good on television, but they're able to properly and well articulate what Trump wants to do and why. I think you're going to see a much more aggressive, much more assertive agenda in the second term than you did even in the first.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.